Why do networks need name tags for machines? Ever wonder how your laptop finds the right printer on your home network? Or how your phone gets that hilarious cat video from a server thousands of miles away? It feels like magic, but it's all thanks to a surprisingly simple system of digital name tags. Without them, the internet as we know it would grind to a halt. Imagine a huge, crowded party. Everyone is shouting, trying to talk to someone specific. It's chaos. Now, what if everyone had a unique, permanent name badge pinned to their shirt? Suddenly, you could find your friend just by knowing their name. That's exactly what a MAC address is. Every single device that can connect to a network, your phone, your computer, even your smart fridge is born with a unique identifier burned right into its hardware. It's like a serial number or a fingerprint. It never changes, and no two devices in the world share the same one. This is the ultimate, undeniable identity of a machine on a local level. So, your computer has its MAC address, and your printer has its MAC address. They're in the same room, the same local network. Your computer wants to send a document to the printer. It knows it needs to talk to the printer, but how does it find it in this digital room? It can't just shout into the void. This is where a clever little process called ARP comes in. ARP, or Address Resolution Protocol, is like your computer politely asking the room, "Hey, I'm looking for the device with this specific name. Can you tell me your name badge number?" Think of it this way. Your computer stands up and announces the printer's name it knows. All the other devices on the network hear this announcement. Your TV, your smart speaker, they all check if that name belongs to them. When the printer hears its name called, it responds directly to your computer, saying, "That's me. Here's my MAC address." Now your computer has the exact, physical level address it needs to send the print job directly to the printer. It's a digital handshake, a direct introduction that allows two devices in the same room to communicate. This ARP process happens constantly, billions of times a second across the globe, forming the very foundation of local network communication. But local networks are just one piece of the puzzle. Your home network is like one house on a very, very long street. That street is in a neighborhood, which is in a city, which is in a country. The world is a massive collection of these individual networks. A MAC address is great for finding someone in your own house, but it's useless for finding someone in a different city. You can't possibly know the MAC address of a Google server in California from your living room in London. It would be like trying to find someone across the country just by knowing the name on their shirt. You need a more scalable, organized system. You need a postal address. And that's precisely what an IP address is. An IP address is a logical, temporary address assigned to your device, much like the address of your house. It tells other computers not just who you are, but where you are on the vast map of the internet. It has two parts. One part identifies the specific network you read on your neighborhood, and the other part identifies your specific device on that network, your house number. When you want to watch a video, your computer sends a request not to a MAC address, but to the IP address of the video server. This request travels from your local network out onto the internet, hopping from router to router, each one reading the IP address like a postman reading a zip code, getting it closer and closer to its destination. So, let's put it all together. You want to send an email. Your computer, which has its own unique MAC address and a temporary IP address, creates the email. You hit send. Your computer needs to send this email to your router to get it out onto the internet. It uses ARP to ask for the router's MAC address within your local network. "Hey router, what's your MAC?" the router replies. Now your computer sends the email packet directly to the router's MAC address. The router then looks at the destination IP address your friend's email server and sends the packet out on its journey across the internet. At the other end, your friend's router receives the packet and uses ARP on its own local network to find your friend's computer and deliver the email. It's a beautiful, two-level system. IP addresses for the long-haul journey across the globe, and MAC addresses for that final, personal delivery within the local neighborhood. These two name tags, the permanent MAC address and the flexible IP address, work in perfect harmony to make our digital world possible. One provides the unchanging identity, the other provides the locatable address. Without both, the internet would be a chaotic mess of lost data. Every click, every stream, every message relies on this elegant dance between finding who a device is and knowing where it is. But this system raises another interesting question. We've talked about how devices find each other in a single room or across the entire world. But what if you want to create private spaces within your own network? What if you want to group certain devices together and keep them separate from others, even if they're all connected to the same hardware? That's a challenge that requires another layer of networking magic. We Lines explore how we can build virtual walls and create exclusive clubs within our networks in the next episode. If you're enjoying these deep dives into how our digital world works, make sure to subscribe to Phill Explains Tech so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching.